Well. Welcome back to another episode of On the Bench with Beeks. This is number 9. We're feeling fine. I'm your host, Cody Beekman. With me, as always, is one-man handers, Keith Sanders.
How's it going, everyone?
And I'm also here with the glossy Ross Moormeyer.
What's up, guys?
And today we got a special guest, our very first guest on the Bench with Beeks. It's the Dawgfather, Mr. Cappy, Marty Richardson's. What's up, Marty? Welcome to the show, bud.
Thanks for having me, Cody. I can't wait for the next hour.
Oh, it's going to be sweet. So, guys, how's your week been?
Week's been great, man. Enjoying a couple of days off. Enjoying the nice weather. What about everyone else?
Well, I've just been working, doing my last week of school. Finals is on Monday, so I'm going to be done.
All right, Marty, what about you, man? What you been up to this week?
This is a big Dawg Nation week. It was Global Giving Day on Tuesday, and we can hit that up in a little bit. But Mike Freeman, our executive director, put up an all-star lineup that included none other than Cody Beeks Beekman. And
who's that?
Yeah. We had videos running like every 30 minutes, and 20 of them across the day there, and we unbelievably rallied over $15,000 that day.
And that was for the COVID relief, correct?
Kind of. It was a social media kind of made up day.
Oh, okay.
The Global Giving Day is typically in December, and I know a lot of nonprofits right now, along with small businesses and just regular Joe Blow families, are really hurting for money right now, and it was kind of a call to action, and we did way more than I ever anticipated. So it was an exciting day.
That's amazing.
$15,000. That's nothing to scratch at all.
No, that's nothing to balk at all.
So who else was on there? I mean, you had a lot of Colorado known Colorado players and whatnot.
Yeah, we went. There's a big tie-in with the Avs, as you know, Cody. I mean, you guys probably know this, but Cody actually had a visit right here in this house from none other than Milan Hajduk. He's wearing his jersey right now.
Yeah, yes.
So Milan was one of the guys. Jan Hajduk was another. We went current Avs as well. So Tyson Joe stepped up and did a video, and Jared Bednar, a good friend of mine, also did one. We also had a couple of kids that were recipients of ours that were just fantastic. Really neat. Dave Repsher burned 90% of his body was another one, and the list really went on and on, and two Humboldt kids as well that survived the accident, Grayson Cameron and Tyler Smith, and I did a little recap the next day and looked at whose videos got watched the most, and the number one was none of us were that surprised. It was Dave Repsher, who's very famous Flight for Life nurse that was burned over 90% of his body. Number one video that was watched, but anybody guess who number two out of all those famous hockey players, McNabb, Mosier, all these guys were on there?
Are we looking at him?
We are looking at him.
We are looking at him. Man, Cody.
Oh, well, I guess I got a talent for asking for money.
I mean, how does it feel to be number two? I'm
gonna have to chirp some of these guys. Marty and I were talking. I'm gonna have to chirp Hedgie about that. I mean, that's crazy to think about. I mean, my video being watched more than Peter McNabb, Milan Hajduk, even the Humboldt Bronco kids. Actually, I think it tied with one of Tyler Smith.
Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
Tyler Smith is a great young man. He was in that crash, of course, but tried to come back, and he was one of 3 players from the crash that we're going to play on the next season. And he lasted about 2 weeks and just said, "This isn't for me. It's just not the same." And it was pretty tough on him. He went back to Edmonton to go to school, which is he's actually in broadcast school.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
really
that's
cool.
what he's doing. And but Tyler, the other really neat thing about him is he's one of 5 of the young men from that survived that accident that I've had the incredible pleasure through Dawg Nation to bring to Colorado. And brought him here last November. He got to meet Bobby Hull. He got to meet Michel Goulet, all these different guys, and we did a lot of stuff during that time period. But what trumps all of that is what he's done with his platform, and he started a group over there. Tyler had some really difficult thoughts after the accident.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Survivor's remorse and things like that. And he was in a really, really dark place. And he took that and turned it into something called It's Okay Not to Be Okay that runs across Canada. And this is a young man that's in his early 20s that's doing that. And special kid on so many levels, and you're going to see some really big things from this.
Oh,
kid.
that's awesome. And I mean, it's okay to not be okay. Do you have? Is there like a website we can maybe post on this episode?
He doesn't have a website, but what he has is he puts together a lot of these blogs and essays and stuff. He uses them for school actually. But
cool.
He's a very talented writer, and I'm not just saying that because he's sitting to my right, but Cody is too. You guys seen some of the stuff
Absolutely,
he's put
yeah.
together, right? That's also on the. So Cody's stuff is on our Dawg Nation website. So is Tyler's.
Yeah, I actually saw that the other
Yeah.
day. We were looking around, just like maybe cyber stalking a bit. But yeah, I did actually see a link to that, so that's exciting.
Creeping to Marty a little bit.
Yeah.
Be like TLC.
I have a lot of fans, boys.
You do.
I mean, you're a hot commodity, Marty. All right, well, boys. Well, we've got a pretty great episode here. I mean, obviously, we're gonna get into a lot of what Marty does and where he's come from and what Dawg Nation does. But we have a few other things, a couple updates and some drama in the NHL sphere. So I think what we'll do is we'll get into our hockey day in history. And I think Marty, you're the newcomer here. We're gonna let you go first, bud.
All righty. Cody had the same one as I did. We talked a little before, but he's going to let me. This is kind of a two-part one, and the first part is goes back to the Nordique days, and everybody here on this broadcast, and probably everybody listening already knows the Nordiques ended up in Colorado. Year before they came here in the playoffs of '95, Nordiques had a really good team, but kind of flamed out in the playoffs that year. But that was it wasn't quite on this day, but Joe Sakic had a hat trick. I think it was against the Rangers.
Yeah.
And that was on that like 2 days ago, I guess. But my other one, because I was actually there, it wasn't quite on this date, but it was the following year. We luckily here, as of hockey fans in Colorado, inherited an amazing team. And on April 27th, April 25th of '96, the Avs played the Canucks in Game 5, and Joe ended up with another hat trick. And I was actually at that game. I was in the ninth row in the corner, and Joe scored in overtime on the opposite end of where I was, but still pretty awesome.
In old McNichols Arena.
Oh, yeah.
Nichols Arena.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I know that we're going to do some trivia questions, but can I throw one out here right now?
Oh,
Absolutely.
dude, absolutely. We love it.
Okay, this is a fun one. This is this could never happen again, by the way, because who is the Avalanche player, or it could be Avalanche, could be not. What player scored the last goal ever at McNichols Sports Arena and also scored the first goal ever at the Pepsi Center?
Valerie Kaminsky.
Nope.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna go with Footer.
That's a good try. I would have guessed that, but that is
Oh,
wrong.
you know what? I know this one, actually.
Spit it out, man.
Oh.
What do you think? I don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, it was our boy, Milan Hajduk.
And ding, 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 and that is right.
Oh, man, that's
This one's a tricky one, and the reason why, Milan actually didn't play the year before. But it was the last game of the preseason, because the Pepsi Center was delayed, was played at the McNichols, and Hedgie scored the last goal.
Oh,
and
boy.
then the first game of the season, when the Pepsi Center was ready, he scored the first goal.
Oh, yep.
Pretty crazy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's way crazy.
I was
And then another question about your hockey day. Wasn't that the last hat trick in Nordique's history? And then the first hat trick in Avalanche history in the playoffs?
Yeah, playoff-wise it was, yeah. And later that playoffs, actually, they had 2 hat tricks that year, and I was actually lucky enough to be at both. And see if you guys know the second one.
Oh, God.
Same playoffs.
I'm gonna have to go with Peter Forsberg.
Yeah, you're right.
I was right
Beeks,
on par with you, dude.
You're a guru.
Are we?
You're a hockey dictionary, my friend.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I said Val Kaminsky the first time is he was the first. He scored the first ever Colorado Avalanche goal.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Against the Detroit Red Wings, actually.
Boo.
And what if I'm not mistaken, that hat trick by Fopa, it was actually in the Panthers series.
Yes.
It was Panther series. It was game 2
where he went
here.
beast mode and went six points.
Yeah, he had
within the second and third
he had
period.
3 goals and 3 assists within the second and third period.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Like, what was it? One of my mom's cousin's husband. Still remembers that game. I mean, rest in peace for him. But he still remembers that game to this day, and he's just like, I couldn't believe how on fire. Like, he played like a man possessed. He said.
I and the best thing about Fopa is that he normally like on his face. Unless it was like just a huge goal, he was normally pretty stoic after he scored. Like I think after his like 5th point or something, you just see this like just this grin, this like, oh my god, I can't believe I just fucking did this.
Kind of had a snarky
Just
look to him.
it was. I'll never forget that face. I never will. It's burned in the back of my mind, and so that's. I mean. I love it.
All right.
You know how big a Fopa fan I am. So, all right, Ross, what do you got?
Oh, wow. Okay, I guess I was going to see who wanted to go next. But, I'm going to say that Bossy, about this, what was it? It was May 7th when Bossy powers the Islanders to a 4th straight cup final. And, he carries the 3-time defending Stanley Cup champion New York Islanders to the Stanley Cup final by scoring 4 goals in a series, clinching the 8-4 victory against the Boston Bruins.
8-4, wow.
In the stoic Nassau Coliseum.
Oh, wow.
He finishes that series with 9 goals and set a Stanley Cup record by scoring the winning goals in each of the 4 Islanders' victories. I mean, the man with a plan, Bossy.
Oh, Mike Bossy.
The
Come
only
on.
person to break his record for rookie scoring was Timu.
I believe it. Well, if anybody's going to do it, it's probably going to be Timu Solani, that's for sure.
Right.
All right, so what I got today is May 7th, 1994, Don Beaupre became the Washington Capitals' all-time leader in playoff wins with his 18th and a 4-2 win over the Rangers in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Beaupre passed Pete Peters, who had 17 prior for the Caps.
Very cool.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, Keats.
Mine's pretty simple, too. We're going to drop it down to May 8th of 2000. Let's talk about some goalies, since I'm a goalie, you know. May 8th, 2000, Martin Brodeur recorded his 8th career playoff shutout as the Devils beat the Leafs 3-0 in Game 6 of the conference semifinals. Now, I got to throw in a little trivia question into that. How many shots do you think Martin Brodeur faced that particular game?
Oh, God. Was it as many as Hasek that last episode that I... God, because that's a stellar number. You face 70 shots and then pitch a shutout. I'd have to say probably 65.
All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, that's in the left wing lock days, my friend.
Yeah.
There's not going to be 65 shots. So it's going to be, they were the most boring team in NHL history.
Yeah.
And you're probably talking, I'm going to say like 21.
21.
That might even be high.
All right. What about you, Beeks?
I'm going to say 45.
45. Well, boys, let me tell you, throughout the whole game, our boy Marty Brodeur, he faced 6 shots.
Oh, my
The
God.
whole 3 periods.
Left wing lock. Did I not say that?
Yep.
Marty was right with saying the left wing lockdown era, but
There it is. 6 shots.
6 shots.
So, and this goes in a debate now, in which a lot of people, and the article where I got it from, they were talking about it too. So, should this be counted as one of Marty's, shutout? I get it.
I mean,
it doesn't matter 1 shot or 50 shots. You still got a shutout. But you know what I mean.
Yeah,
6 shots. But who knows? They might have been the 6th craziest freaking glove saves.
I'm sure he was probably getting real bored, so he's probably just trying to like flaunt it a little bit more.
Oh yeah, do what Patty Waugh did, kind of do that overzealous like glove save or something like that.
Oh
no, we talked about that. Those backfired too every now and then.
Oh yeah,
6 shots. That's
6 shots the whole game, man.
Wow. All right, sweet Toronto Maple Leafs. You're doing your alma mater proud there, but jeez.
So I think I won that one, right?
You were the closest one.
Yeah,
so Marty definitely did win.
Yeah, if we're going Price is Right rules for sure. All right, so here's a bit of interesting news. Actually, Jim Tiernan brought this up to On the Bench with Beeks the other day, and I thought it was just absolutely ridiculous. So Elliot Friedman has been hearing rumors that Justin Bieber and his dad are looking to buy the Ottawa Senators.
And that was the conversation that we were together in on Facebook, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, where I also, like, Robert Kraft possibly might be in the mix and all that.
Yeah,
well, I've heard there's a lot of people that are essentially interested in it, but
I mean,
besides all the other businessmen, I suppose, what are your guys' feels on this whole Justin Bieber thing?
Well, that's the question. Would you rather have Eugene Melnyk, an insufferable douchebag that controls the team, or would you rather have Justin Bieber, an insufferable douchebag that's always on his pop star tours?
Well, here's the thing.
Which would you rather have?
It's hard, and then you guys are probably gonna bash me for it, but I honestly think Justin Bieber would be a better fit. And the only reason I think that, I mean, Eugene, where is he? He comes from like some sort of a pharmaceutical. That's his background. So he has zero sports
and
anything, as it goes. I mean, at least Justin Bieber, he's a huge hockey fan. He plays hockey. I mean, the videos, they come in and out,
You take him for what you will.
And he's really not that bad. I mean, he's no NHL star, but the kid can play some hockey.
Oh, yeah. I forget which player. Was it? It was the goalie for the Blues.
Jordan Middleton. Yeah, they've been chirping each other.
Yeah, he was challenging him that he would just shellac him in a whole entire one-on-one. It was just like, no way. But, I mean, I could see, when you see the videos, Justin Bieber's actually not a bad hockey player, man. He's got some stick handling maneuvers and all that, so.
Right. I mean, I guess when it comes down to it all, too, it's not, you don't have to be a good hockey player to be a good owner.
No.
You can definitely come from different backgrounds, but I mean, what was it? Eugene Melnyk, he acquired Ottawa Senators, I believe, in 2003, correct? And if I remember correctly, they were near bankruptcy at that time.
You're right. Yeah.
So
they're still not very far out of the woods, man. They can't even give tickets away.
And that's the thing, I think people got excited, like, who we got saved, and then Eugene Melnyk buys them, and I believe it was worth like $1.5 billion at the time, or something crazy like that. But then I've seen articles that he's, and I don't know if this number's correct or not, but he's lost roughly $94 million.
I wouldn't doubt it.
For Ottawa. So whatever he's doing is not working.
And another thing to just point out is that Melnyk really likes to stick his fingers in everything that the GM's doing.
Oh yeah, well, and it was a lot less, it seemed like, when they had Razor and all of that stacked team with Heatley and all of Chris Neal and all that.
I think that was before Melnyk owned them.
That was 2007 when they went to the Stanley Cup Finals with the Ducks, dude.
There we go.
Yeah, so, I mean, they had a stacked team. They had some brilliant prospects, but he just kind of let it go by the wayside, I feel like.
He's definitely imploded.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a little key. That's just a little thing that we've heard in the old NHL sphere for right now. I figured there's not a lot going on. Well, not too much going on right now.
No.
But I mean, Justin Bieber, possible owner.
Yeah, possible
I
owner.
guess we'll keep an eye out for that
Robert
one.
Kraft having his hands in 2 different kinds of sports. I mean, I
Stick
don't
with the
know.
Patriots, man.
Well, and they're not going to be doing that good anyways. So I mean,
I don't think there's a lot of prostitutes out in Ottawa that he can utilize.
Shots fired.
Come get me, Robert Kraft. Come
come
get
at me, bro. Come at me, bro.
All right, so the next thing.
Yeah, Cody, I'm with Keith. So I think a guy that plays beer league hockey and hangs out with us, and even if his name's Bieber, I'd be for that.
Yeah, I mean, whoever has the most coin and can actually do something with the team.
Yeah,
that's
I actually
100% like yeah.
Yeah, and I not got a very good connection on here, but I was actually gonna try and pull up a picture on my phone here of me and the Beeb.
Oh, you've met the Beeb, huh?
I was going to there, but I wasn't able to pull it up because I don't have very good connection. But I'll send it to you.
All right, yeah.
That's awesome.
We might put that as the
advert,
the picture
when
for
we
the
launched the
advert,
episode. Yeah.
Cappy and the Beeb.
Look at that.
That sounds like a
God, baby, oh.
But yeah, man.
Cap. Are you a believer?
No.
But yeah, man. I mean, I guess to wrap this conversation up, or anyone else has to add something. But yeah, how I look at it is the kid at least has passion for the sport.
That's true.
Which,
That's true.
you know, I highly doubt that our boy Eugene, cares about hockey whatsoever.
Well,
And that's where all these consequences are coming from to begin with.
Well,
Yeah.
true.
He doesn't understand the sport, and that's why they're having all these problems. And again, that's just my take on it. So
Yeah, I can understand that for sure. I mean, yeah, and might revitalize the franchise too. Like get a little more action, like more people coming to games. Knowing that Justy Biebs is owning the team.
Well, that, and at least he has enough hockey sense to somewhat try to get decent people in the draft and like trying to coach people.
Well, yeah, you never know. Well, you gotta let a lot of that fall on your GM too. But
Yeah.
I think that's the main problem with the Ottawa Senators, that Melnick is trying to do too much.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough pull there, that's for sure.
Well, he is the man. He's the man that signs the checks. But I think he's not letting his GM actually do his job.
Yeah.
All right, so that's I mean, hey, Biebs for owner.
As
Who
long
knows?
as it's not
make
Beeks.
Ottawa great again.
Yeah.
Make Ottawa,
Oh my God.
make Ottawa
Biebs.
pop and lock again, huh?
Not for president, just for ownership.
Well, so like last episode, we were talking about the NHL Gaming Challenge. The first week is actually done, and we had three games going down. It was Philip Forsberg and JT Confer.
Oh, Timothy.
Yeah,
Love him.
He got wrecked.
Really?
Yeah, 3-0.
What?
Forsberg just railed him.
Eesh.
And also, Stephen Johns played somebody from Pittsburgh, I believe. It was Zach Aston Reese.
Okay.
And the brothers Kachuk went up against each other.
Oh, wow.
Brady
Brady and Matt?
Oh,
that's
Brady
cute.
took it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
The unsung hero out of the two Chuck brothers, and he just
the young
takes it.
Kachuk taking it. So there's going to be more more games going on, I believe today actually, and then the next day. So we'll keep you updated on that.
Sweet.
So without further ado, our lovely guest here, Marty Richardson. Marty, for the people who are listening elsewhere and are not exactly familiar with Colorado hockey or what you guys are doing here, can you explain Dawg Nation a little bit more?
Yeah, I'll give you the high level. You guys are all beer league hockey players, right? And,
Absolutely.
So that's all this really was. Back in 2003, we put together a team and called them the Dogs over at the Edge Ice Arena, and lost most of our games most of the time. And but it was a group of guys that really got to know each other and have some fun, and gave us one night a week we could get away from the wives and family and kids and sit around the locker room and became pretty good friends. And over the years, we actually got a little bit better and started to win a few games here and there. And then in the spring, or the actual month of February 2009, I would send the emails out and say, this is our lineup for tonight, and watch out for number 23 on the puck hogs or whatever. And most importantly, Keats, you got beer tonight. That kind of same thing. And
absolutely, yeah.
Like any beer league team would do. And we weren't anything more than that. And when I did that, I got an email back, and it said I got bad news, and it was from our youngest guy on the team. He was only 20 years old at the time. And he said, I can't make tonight's game. I was diagnosed with cancer yesterday. And I was like, wow, that's rough. So and his name was Danny Packard, who Cody knows very well.
Danny.
And I took him off the email distribution, sent it back out, and said, hey, we're going to do something for Danny tonight. And I'm literally and figuratively going to pass my hat around the room. And few bucks landed in there, and but more importantly, I said I'm going to go visit him in the hospital on Saturday if anyone wants to join me. And pretty much the whole team went, and we snuck in, or came into the room and had a big banner and snuck some beers in. Got in trouble for that, but that's good. But the surgeon, actually, or oncologist, came over to me and said, this was really big for Danny. Like, just lifted his spirits, so on and so forth. Week later, send out the same type of email again. Thank you. Picture of Danny on there. Said, hey, thanks for coming out, guys. And then same email, and here, most important, here's a beer, here, this, so on and so forth. Here's our lineup. And then the oldest guy on the team, Dave Chamberlain, sends me an email back, and he goes, I know this is kind of a gut punch after what happened with Danny, but I was diagnosed with cancer yesterday. I'm like, what?
Jeez.
So these are only 15 guys on our team. So now we got 2 guys in a row. And took Dave off that email, did the same thing with Dave, and unbelievably, 2 days after that happened, a third guy on the team, and this is near and dear to you, was a guy named Andy Gary.
Yep.
And Andy Gary at the time was 36 years old, had 3 kids under 9 years old, and he calls me in tears and told me that he had stage 4 colon cancer.
Oh my God.
So all on the same team. Within 10 days, we had 3 of our 15 guys all get cancer, and it didn't look good for Andy. And so we rallied and did some things. We used to have these dog parties at my house, and they were kind of crazy, but they were fun. But you were at those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we ended up kind of getting through the season, and the summer season came, and the guys on the team were literally all of those guys, those 2, Danny and Dave, were back in the lineup, and they were still on radiation treatments and different things like that. Andy, who had a full-on port in his chest, literally would adjust his chemo treatments around our game schedule. He'd give them to his doctor and say, here's my schedule. Put my chemo, the biggest doses on it, the day after I play. So he would play, even though he totally should not have been playing.
That's jam.
He did. And so all these guys were playing, and then unbelievably, this was in October. We won the summer league, actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
And in that fall of that year, there was one guy on the team that was most like me, and Cody knows this because he was there. I was a college soccer player, halfway decent at Metro State, and my buddy Jack was a college soccer player at Eastern Carolina. I have 3 daughters, no sons. Jack has 3 daughters, no sons. I was coaching kids soccer. Jack was coaching kids soccer. We would get dressed right next to each other and talk and whatever and go to visits. And I'm a CPA by trade, and Jack was a Merrill Lynch financial guy by trade. So it was basically looking in the mirror when I looked at Jack.
Oh, yeah.
And we went to lunch in October of 2009, same year, and he's like, dude, I don't know what's going on. He and I are, like, not crazy, but, like, fairly decent fitness guys for our age, and he knew how much he could bench, how fast he could run a 5K, all these different things. We talk about that, and he's like, dude, I don't know what's going on. I'm getting weaker. I'm losing weight. And literally the very next day, Jack went into a coma.
Oh, my God.
The very next day. And 9 days later, he came out of the coma, and battery of tests later on this guy that's really fit and exercises and doesn't drink excessively, eats well, everything. He checks all the boxes. It doesn't make sense. Turns out he doesn't have cancer, but he has an autoimmune disease And over the next 6 months, I watched Jack go from the most fit person I knew at that age, like him and I, and he was about 80 pounds and unrecognizable to me near the end. And I would tell the guys, he's doing great, because I wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
And then Jack unfortunately passed away on April 7th, 2010, or April 10th, 2010. And at that point, I spoke at his funeral a few days later, and I said to his girls, I said, I'm going to do something in your dad's honor. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to do something. And so I started this thing called Dawg Nation Hockey, and I thought it was going to maybe be $5-10 grand a year. And incredibly, 9 years later, we're super proud to say that we've actually helped over 160 families.
Oh, wow.
And we've given away over $1.7 million.
Wow.
That's amazing, man.
And one of them is sitting right to my right here. And Cody, in that same the year we started was April. I mean, it was literally January 1st, 2011. It could be like you guys here, and we didn't really know what we were doing. We're like, oh, Andy needs help, and so on and so forth. We all threw $100 in the middle of the table. It was my goalie, my left wing, and the right defenseman, and whatever. And we said, they looked at me as a CPA. Can you figure out how to do a 501c3? I said, I probably can do that, and that's how this started. And that was January 1st, 2011, and October 31st, 2011. Only 11 months later, Cody had his accident. And so when we heard about that, it was a guy named Bernie Levac who knew Cody's family. And he told me about Cody, and we showed up here at this house. And Cody was at Craig Hospital at the time, and I spent a lot of the day with Phil, and he said, I could tell they were just totally overwhelmed. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a handy guy. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Cody's in the hospital. He's home in 2 weeks, and I'm like, that door's not wide enough. There's got to be. How's he gonna get up into the house? And what about going in the backyard? What about the floors? It's carpet. Like he can't move on a wheelchair. And I went back that night and prayed a little bit. And I know Phil, who's sitting here listening to me, he's a man of God. And I said, what can we do? And a week later, we had 34 people here at the house. And we put in hardwood floors. We put in ramps. We put in concrete pads. We painted the room to look like Avs because we knew you were an Avs fan.
Oh yeah, of course.
We covered you name it, right?
Everything.
And Cody still didn't know any of this was going on.
No, I had no idea.
And in addition to that, we were able to hand a really nice check over to the family. And so it was
at an Avs game, mind you.
Yeah, and I looked
in between the periods.
Yeah, I knew Phil. I looked at Phil and I saw myself. I'm like, I got daughters the same age as Phil's got a son and another daughter, and I just said, that's at no fault of his own, and they're in a position that they just can't do it. And every bit of that was covered by people with big hearts.
People I never met.
Yeah, people that had never met Cody. None of them. I hadn't met Cody.
Right. I hadn't even never met.
Yeah, and so it was the most telling point. I don't know if you remember this, Phil, but Pidge and I were we had our Molson, which I'm holding in my hand right now, sitting on the hardwood floor there, and we were putting in the last couple pieces because we were having trouble putting them in. And your daughter came in. I hadn't met your daughter, your sister. Yeah. And she walked in the front door, and she stood at the top, the tri-level house we're in here, looked down and burst into tears. Yeah. And that you were right next to me when we did that. We big hug, and a week later, I got to meet Cody, and his parents said to me, "You might want to go." And we had a whole bunch of people going to Craig Hospital, and
a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people, and we said we want to tell Cody about what we just did this past weekend, and they sent me in first, right? You remember that, Cody?
Yeah.
And we talked. I'd never met Cody, and I spent about 15 minutes with him. He told me all about this technology, and what I resonated with me, because I still remember it, is how positive he was. Like, I got a curveball, but look at what this technology does. Look at what I can do, what I already can do. He was already thinking ahead. What we're doing today is what he was thinking about there. And we brought all the guys in. You remember that? And I had everybody talk in the room, and I said, take them a moment and tell Cody what this weekend meant to you. Last weekend meant to you. And there was not a dry arm. Was there not?
Like now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so it was pretty awesome. But that became only the very beginning of a long-time friendship. That's not, I wouldn't say culminating here because it's got a long way to go.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really what I'm most proud of with Dawg Nation because there's a lot of charities, and I'm not going to bash other charities, but very few charities that I know of, people that are helped by the charity become the family of the charity.
Yeah.
And we saw that Monday or Tuesday when we were doing the night there, right, or the giving day, and Mike would go, do you know that? Oh, that's Andy Allen. His wife died, and we gave him a check at this event. And then there would be, like, he'd go, do you know who that is? And I'm like, yeah, we gave that check in 2012. And I just talked to them last week. It was one after the other, after the other, after the other, after that. And it was not just the videos that we made, that, like you did, Cody. It was amazing. But just it was really, really cool to see what this has turned into and the breadth of what it's become.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry, I'll just go from the.
Oh no, what I was just about to say is that it really is just a gigantic family. Like every time I go somewhere or go to a dog event, I know everybody there. Everybody takes the time to come up to you and talk to you, and like it's just like it's almost like a family reunion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it. And it really does. It speaks volumes to the people that you guys help.
It does.
It's not just like, okay, here's your check. Yeah, have a good life. It's you gain like 45, 50 brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. You really do, and it's beautiful, and it really does speak to the togetherness that hockey provides. Yeah, it's the same thing as like just playing on a hockey team, but it's more than just 20 guys. Well, it's a collective of people, and it helps out so much more to know that you've got these people in your corner no matter what.
Oh yeah.
And I definitely wouldn't be where I am now, or as happy and like I don't know, it means the world to us for sure.
Yeah. Well,
just to see how amazing you guys are, and like how you literally don't stop.
Yeah, but the beauty is, Cody, you're now incredibly important to us, and that was not more evident than, all kidding aside, when we were throwing out those names, you were the second most watched video on Tuesday, and that's not just because I'm telling you that right now. It's true, and people follow you through Dawg Nation. They follow you. They follow you guys because you're friends of him, and it's pretty cool to see that. And every time we're at an Avs game, we're there together, even if it's for 5 minutes, we're going to connect. It's just like, and same with 15 other people. You see me when I'm there.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, that just came up, and we did this to them, and then a little girl comes up, right?
Yeah, and I see so many Dawg Nation members at games. Every time they just stop and talk. We stop and talk, even if it's just for 5 minutes, and just to know, like, I wouldn't know that guy otherwise.
That's how you and Andy and Les Borshon met.
Yeah, exactly. And Andy's become a really good friend too. Andy's a great guy. He's a wholesome guy, and probably definitely would have never met without Dawg Nation. And these friendships I cherish are just so important to me. Yeah.
Well, and what I love is how personable you've been through every situation, Marty. It's not like, oh, you're just going to have this done and then you're just going to sit by and just idly wait. You actually physically get involved with these people, get involved with the families. Coworker Matt Martinez with Dave Rupture. I mentioned, he's like, oh, I was at a hockey tournament this weekend. Oh, did you do the Dawg Nation hockey? Then I was like, yep, Cody, this, that, and the other, and it just bonded us that closer together. We just talked about how awesome it was and just how personable of a person you are to just go and visit every single one of these families and still have the time, like the effort, like, you know, that you put into that is just amazing. It's great. It's great to see that within the community, not even just the hockey community, just the community.
Just in general, yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
that's just such a, you know, just, it puts a big old puff in your chest, you know? You're like, oh, well.
A lump in your throat.
Yeah, well, that too.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, there's, like Ross said, there's so many great memories. One that really sticks in my head, Marty, is it was actually one of the 5K runs, and forgive me, I can't remember if it might have been one of the first ones, but there was, and again, I can't remember which year it was, but it was the Fortune family that lost their home during one of the wildfires.
That was the very first one.
It was that okay?
Yeah.
So I participated in that one. I skated, and I didn't want to run.
Me too.
Luckily, I was in a wheelchair. I just got pushed around. I was fine.
But I guess long story short, this family they unfortunately lost their home during one of these wildfires. Was it in Boulder, if I remember correctly?
Netherlands.
Okay. And one of the family members, actually, where they lost the home, he was a firefighter, right?
Correct.
And he went off to help his neighbors and other people to save their homes while he was doing his job. Him and his family, unfortunately, lost their own home, and within all that, they lost one of their dogs that they really, really loved.
Oh yeah.
And with everything going on, I remember it was just one of my favorite things. You guys actually got him a new puppy. It was the same breed and everything. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, was it Bernie that brought the dog to them?
The dog they lost was a dog named Gino, and he was a Saint Bernard, and they actually never found the remains. Gino ran off, and they never found Gino, and it was like this fine Gino. It was all over Boulder. It was all over.
I remember
all over
that.
the news and so on and so forth. And Bretland and Charlie, they don't have kids, but so they have kids. They're four-legged, and they were decimated. And what's kind of cool about that, Bretland's a hockey player, not Charlie. So she's plays in the women's league and stuff. Great gal, and Charlie's an awesome guy, and this was a risky one in our eyes, because it's like, do we do this or not?
Because people, animals can be weird.
Right.
The grieving period.
It really was. They were still looking for the dog. Like, it wasn't that far after when we did that. And Bernie is a Saint Bernard.
Yep.
And the dog was a Saint Bernard that they lost. Cool. And so he went to a Saint Bernard place out in Kansas that donated the Saint Bernard.
Oh, wow.
And so I talked to him. I said, here's what the deal is. And they go, well, we can't charge you for that. And so I said, really, really appreciate it. So, but the thing was, they said, you got to take the dog early. So we had the dog 10 days before, we being my family. And my girls fell in love with this little dog.
Oh, yeah.
And, his name was Watson, because he had a marking on the back that looked like a question mark. So Watson. So that's what they named him. And my girls and my wife especially, they took this dog everywhere. And it was like a stuffed animal. It was like this little ball of fur, super soft. And I was like, we're not keeping that, right? And we thought, honestly, if it's too much for the family, we were actually going to keep it. Because it was like, well, I mean, we can take a dog. We live in the mountains. We have land and the whole bit. And so but it was definitely risky. We gave the family a check to help them get through the thing. And then I said, well, we're not done yet. And that's when Bernie, that you remember, the mascot of the Avs, who's obviously a St. Bernard mascot as well, skated up walked up holding the dog, and I said, that's for you, and she just lost it.
I remember that.
So cool.
Yeah, and then she had to call her husband, who came down, and we stayed quite a bit longer, Cindy and I was like, and he was a little bit, I don't know about this, but now they have their own web page. It's called Watson the Dog, DAWG.
Okay.
Oh,
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, not webpage, Facebook page.
Got it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Watson the dog, and they do posts on him all the time. And he actually comes to all the 5Ks.
Oh, does he? Oh, that's
does.
awesome.
He was
really
actually at
cool.
last year's Dog Bowl. I have pictures with him and some of the NHL players.
Oh, that's awesome.
But he's
so
giant.
really
He's
cool.
gigantic.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, it's like, but I would say was a little risky on that one, but
Yeah.
it turned out super cool.
That's awesome.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Great memory. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little more background about you, man. Like what was your upbringing like? And I mean, how did Cappy become Cappy?
So kind of long. I mean, short version of. I was actually born in England, so I'm a European like you, my man.
That's right.
And, but we immigrated when I was a little kid to Canada, and in Victoria, BC, and then ended up in Colorado when I was still fairly young, but pretty much went to school in Colorado all the way up through college, and wearing my Metro State jersey that Cody Beekman gave me.
Yeah.
And,
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I'm not just saying it. It is my favorite jersey.
Oh, but
it is my favorite jersey.
it's a fly sweater. Man.
It is.
Yeah,
I get comments on it every time.
I saw those. I was like, yeah, I gotta get Cap one of those. Those are just
Yeah.
too cool.
Yeah. So, but I ended up. I loved hockey as a kid. Absolutely loved it. And the local team here was called the Denver Spurs in the Central Hockey League, and they split the Coliseum, and it was a really big deal. The Spurs used to draw huge crowds here, and my parents never had very much money, but I still remember at 8 years old, the very first game I went to, I know the score. It was 8-4 against the Salt Lake City Golden Eagles. And
Oh man.
I remember the smell of the arena. I remember the woman behind me that cursed. First times I heard curse words, and her feet on the back of my seat. I like it's so vivid, and I was 8, but it was. I would listen to every single game on the radio, and my parents couldn't afford to take me to a game, and they finally were able to take. My dad took me to a playoff game, and the Spurs unfortunately lost. But in my mind, I visioned what all these players looked like and different things like that, and I was able to finally go and see a game.
Oh yeah.
And so but I always wanted to play, and I never was able to play. But soccer we're European, so it was kind of the fit for us, and I was really good at it. And I'm not very big, so hockey probably wouldn't have been a good fit for me anyway. But I ended up having a pretty good career, as Cody knows, at Metro State, and played a little semi-pro after that and different things like that. But in the end. I actually started the club program at Metro State for hockey. So
That's so cool.
I played NCAA soccer, but I actually started the club program way back when. And but that's kind of really where that came from. But the Cappy thing is really just a guy named Eric Wilkes on our team. He's kind of a funny guy. He ended up just coining the name Cappy as a short for captain.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Of course.
And so then there's always been these branch offs, as you mentioned. The Dawgfather is kind of a fun one.
Oh, absolutely.
But the Cappy is definitely the main one.
Oh yeah.
And but that's really I still I'm involved with soccer. I still coach. I know Phil, your dad, coached softball for really high levels at Lutheran High School and different things like that. So that's really kind of I'm actually way better, but
Yeah.
if someone said, "What's your passionate sport?" It's definitely hockey.
Oh yeah,
And
truly.
it was really just part of me when I think of it, and some of the things that we're trying to do at Dawg Nation. We've been able to help families and stuff, but kind of the next tier is to kind of think about guys like I was as a kid, and it's unaffordable.
Oh
and
God!
Is there a way to like maybe take not all of it, but because we certainly want to help disabled folks and people with cancer and whatever, like all the stuff that Dawg Nation is about. But is there a way to maybe take a slice of that little bit of that pie and turn it into
Just ease the pain of money, basically.
and maybe change the world in a way on some of these kids that would have had no chance and you know what, look at that.
Well, you're already doing a damn good job of helping, that's for sure. And I mean, you've changed so many people's lives, and I think that's a huge step, to actually help these kids that are in need to just want to play. That'd be an incredible step.
Well, and it gets them off the streets or whatever the hell it is, you know, and into a sport that they might not be able to afford.
Right.
And something that they might love as well, too.
It's an incredible way to grow the game.
Yeah.
Especially in Colorado. I mean, obviously, we have a decent like hockey following in Colorado, but it can always be better.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this hockey's really good. I mean, one of the ones that you were in the Haydukes jersey there, but pretty big deal right now, and the COVID thing's kind of put a little block on it. But Milan's kid, Merrick, is actually named to the U.S. national development team.
Yeah,
Really?
And
yeah.
he's the only American. Only Coloradan on that team, but
That's huge.
that says a lot, not just because of the Hayduk name, but also for Colorado hockey. It really does, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, you got people like Jacob Slavin, Ben
Sure.
Bishop, and just a few kids that are
Troy Terry.
My boy, my man.
Yeah.
I mean, good old Colorado boys actually making it into the league. You got to be proud about that. And I could definitely see a Dawg Nation participant, maybe from said donation, or maybe like just like program that you guys could figure out. One day a Dawg Nation are playing in the Chell,
How cool would that be?
That'd be incredible. I mean, and that'd be huge. And just the amount of how proud you could be, just sit back and we helped that kid. Otherwise he might not have ever even played hockey. And I think that's one thing that I've always really loved, is actually like showing people the game of hockey. And them actually like taking to it just as much as I do. I just love seeing that.
Oh, yeah. Even just like playing it or viewing it or anything. I know that we've gotten a few friends into it, like here just recently, that just would go to random games. Now they're like
Matt Martinez.
Matt Martinez, our buddy Gareth Blair, and one of my personal friends, Nikki Yost, his girlfriend. But I mean, they just go to games randomly with us, and now it's just like, when's the next game? You taking me?
Yeah. And they're just as excited about hockey as we are, and I love seeing that. And to be able to do that on a larger scale would just be incredible.
Oh God, that would just be huge, dude. Huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys actually have plans for an ice rink, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, it's a real. I mean, I wouldn't say it's pie in the sky, but it's gotten a lot more difficult with the COVID thing. So we've been thrown a pretty major curveball here, but it's not gonna. It certainly hasn't derailed us. But the whole idea is, a few years ago, before I already knew Mike Freeman as our executive director, but I didn't know him that well yet, and I was a international finance director at Oracle, doing books in 36 different currencies, and it was not an easy job. And I started doing this whole Dawg Nation thing at the same time, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to pull this off. And we were at that point approaching $500,000 a year that we were raising, and so on and so forth. And I was like, I don't know how I can keep weighing all this. And I thought, either I'm going to have to quit, or I'm going to have to figure out a way to sustain the income on this thing. And so at that point, I thought, at some time I'm going to have to retire someday.
Yeah.
And so kind of in my mind, which I'd thought about for many, many years, was what would be a way to create a residual income on this that's sustainable forever, where Phil and I could be golfing in Arizona and the money's still coming in, and rather than all sweat equity, it's awesome because we get to see all these people, and we're never going to stop doing the stuff we do.
No.
But because it's too important, right? Like the day you got your check, I literally was bawling. You and I. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like I haven't cried that hard since I was 5.
Oh man.
I remember it with you. I looked at you. You looked at me. And I was like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I was just.
I
I couldn't handle it, man.
Yeah.
I was just.
I remember after we'd give him the check and we walked off the air. He rolled off the ice. I walked off the ice and I looked at him and I just completely.
Yeah.
I've never been that way ever with any check ever. I'm not just saying that. I never. have. And he looked at me. I looked at him. And it was like for 5 minutes. Right?
Oh yeah.
We looked like 3
We're
year olds.
just over in the corner. We're in the corner of the ice rink, and everybody's like, "Where's Marty? Where's Cody?" And we're just sitting there, just like
happy tears,
bawling like 2 little babies, man. It was
you
god.
guys
cool.
looked like 6-year-olds watching Old Yeller.
We
where
did.
The red,
It was
red
exactly
fern grows
that.
or
Yeah.
something, or E.T.
And it was just so meaningful, and like it was like almost like can't like absolutely just like right on cue.
Yeah.
It's like both of us just broke
yeah,
down.
we locked eyes and it was it.
Oh,
that was it.
Yep.
It was like, but anyway, this whole rink idea was like, well, what if we were able to find a place that would give us land, and then we were able to go to companies, general contractors, electricians, mechanical engineers, companies that make boards, companies that paint, companies, and tell them what we're going to do. And if we were able to build this thing for almost no cost and then still run it like a regular hockey rink, but at the same time that rink would be designed for everybody.
Yeah, people with abilities, disabilities,
everybody.
All that.
Yeah,
and I love it, Marty.
Yeah, and so no matter who you are, you're welcome here. And what does that mean? And that would be starting with just the rinks themselves. And I got to involve a little bit with something called Colorado Sled Hockey, which is sled hockey players. And Colorado's the hotbed for sled hockey, and it's also the home of USA Hockey. Despite that, we have the most sled hockey national team players right here in Colorado than anywhere else.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
And we have the most, not just one of the top programs. We have the top sled hockey program in the whole world is right here in Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
Despite that, there's not one rink designed for these guys in all of Colorado.
Not at all.
That is crazy,
not
man.
one. So I thought, and it's run by USA Hockey, the Paralympic program. These are the guys that we wear the USA jersey like you're wearing right now, Keats. And so I thought, well, how hard is it? So I started volunteering for these guys, and I was watching them, and I'm like, they can't get off the ice because they can't get over the threshold, and there's boards there, and so on and so forth. And I'm like, what do you guys? I'd go to visit them in the locker room, and I said, what do you guys do? Well, there's glass on the boards, and there's no threshold, and this and that. And I'm like, how's that going to change my life? It's not going to change my life at all.
Yeah.
I can still play like that, but it's going to change this guy's life immensely. And then they're like the locker rooms themselves. These are elite athletes. They literally are like falling out of their chairs and trying to get over this ledge and this and that. And they're literally brought some of them to tears when I said, what if there was a locker room that had artificial ice in it? And the boards of the dry erase boards are like at your height, and you start to hear that AC/DC back in black, that bass pounding and stuff, and you're ready to go on the ice. And instead of stumbling and falling out of your chair and people are falling down, and you get a rip out there just like I get a rip out there.
Yeah,
and they're like, that brought those guys to tears. And I'm like, that's so fucking easy to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you got to do. Like, you're not talking like major stuff here.
No.
But if you try and retrofit a rink, it's really hard. But if you do
absolutely.
it from the beginning. So I started going to different companies, and one after the other: Saunders Construction, MOA Architecture, MTech Engineering. The list goes on and on. Phil, your dad, and said,
Great Barrier Insulation.
Yeah, Great Barrier. Yeah, we would. They would each of these, and we're like, we would like to be part of that. And I go, well, to be part of this, you either have to do this at cost or below, otherwise. And sounding like we're all that, but it was really what the deal was, and we're batting 1,000. Every company we go to says we want in. Oh, yeah. And we're now up over 35 companies. But the really key was, like, we need land for this. Like, where would be, like, the best place? And we had all these different options. And this summer, Jan Heda and I ended up completely just in a fluke in the government offices of Castle Pines, and I didn't even know what the meeting was for. I was dressed not much different than I am today. Yeah. So was Jan.
Comes in with the hockey jersey on.
And,
what's up, guys?
What's up, boys? Hello, sharks.
Yeah. literally didn't even have my computer. I didn't have any materials. I didn't even have business cards. Neither did Jan. And these guys roll in with suits and a map. And I was like, time out. What's going on here? And they go, well, didn't anyone tell you? I go, no, nobody told me anything. And they go, well, you're the 20th group out of 20 that is going to talk to our city about, we have some land that we'd really like to bring something really cool into Castle Pines. And I'm like, well, I had no idea. Can I come back like next week? No, this is it. You're the last group. We need to hear from you. And I'm like, okay.
Oh.
Right
So-
here, right now, get it out.
And so I took the next 45 minutes and told them a little bit of the story you guys are hearing, but told them what Dawg Nation was and so on and so forth. And they ended the meeting and they said, "When can you guys start doing this?" And I was like, what? And Jan and I went to lunch and had a couple beers, and he's like, "Would you get your heads out of the clouds? There's no way they're going to give you that land. It's worth millions of dollars."
Yeah.
And I go, "I know, Yanni." And he's like, but I go, "You heard him?" And he's like, "I know." But so a week later, we went back and we brought the architect with us from MOA Architecture. This guy designed the Edge Ice Arena. He did family sports. He also did the DeVita building downtown. He's done a
I
ton
worked
of
at that one.
Yeah, this is
So-
Jack Musa, the guy that owns the company. So
Yeah.
I brought him with him. And that next week, we roll in there, and as soon as we started the meeting, we tried to do a presentation. They're like, "Yeah, no, we need to talk to the architect." They asked him a bunch of questions, slid a contract across the table, and gave us a piece of land worth $4.6 million.
Holy me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's the city and county probably doing
It's
that too.
it's actually the city of
Is it?
Castle Pines.
Okay.
And it's right at I-25 and Castle Pines Parkway, and it predicated us to go, we got to really get moving here. And for me, like, this thing kind of came out of, like, we jumped on it. We added, continued to add companies and so on and so forth. And we're right now we're in the midst of what's called a feasibility study. And one of the biggest companies in the world, if not the biggest, that does is called SFA. It stands for Sports Facilities Advisory Group. They work with the NHL and all different, like, if someone goes, well, what city should we go into? They do that. But they also work with, like, the smallest group in the world, like a municipal hockey, or a basketball court in Podunk, Arkansas, or whatever. So they kind of hit everything. But we're in the midst of that right now. It should finish in about 2 weeks. And once that finishes, if it comes back and says, this is a really good idea, because it sounds like a really good idea in my mind, but we need these pros, the Ivy League guys, to kind of look at it and do the numbers make sense and so forth. If they do, then we're gonna, I don't care what this COVID thing and all this other stuff, the rules are changing, but we're gonna change with the rules, and we want to make this thing happen. So that's what we're doing right now.
That's huge.
Pretty exciting.
Oh, I'm excited for it. I know you told me about this a long time ago. Just like when it was really in the ideal phase, and I was just so excited for it. Especially something that's disability enabled. That's huge. And especially for the guys that are actually playing sled hockey right now, and they deserve it all. A lot of these guys are actually veterans and stuff, and they lost a lot of stuff while being overseas and stuff, and now they've found this awesome outlet for them, and yet pretty much everywhere they go, they're having all these troubles just getting into the locker room, getting into their sleds, getting onto the ice,
just everything.
And to make a handicapable ice rink is just, I'm surprised it hasn't been thought of before, but
it's about money. That's why nobody does it, and we're trying to trump the heart over the money. And that's really what we're trying to do here.
Well, I love it. That's why I love you guys.
That's the other thing I love about that, Marty. It's like, fuck the money. I don't give two shits about that. You actually personally went into the locker rooms. Hey, what's your take on this? What do you want? Mm-hmm. That's probably the first time in eons that any of those guys have heard anything of that. Because it's like, oh, well, yeah, you get these all these things taken care of, but to do something that you love, what do you want to do that?
Yeah.
I love it.
But
what do you need?
Yeah. Well, not even need. What do you want to make this successful?
Yeah.
Just to make this an actual reality.
Yeah.
What do you want?
absolutely, and that's the thing. I feel the same way. I don't think there's a lot of people that are willing to go that extra step that Marty does.
No.
Is
not
walking
at
in
all.
those locker rooms, talking to everyone, one by one, like, hey, like, what would you like if you could.
If you were to pick one thing
Yeah,
in
exactly.
the world, what would you want
Exactly.
in this hockey
Yeah.
rink? And they say, boom, this.
It's in everyone's heads, like, it sounds so simple, like, that's
Oh,
all
no.
it takes is just like going to these people and like getting face to face and like, how can I help you? What would make your life easier?
Yeah.
You know, and at the same time, it's crazy to think about, you know, like it's just as simple as that.
No matter how you slice it, though, that's just a huge undertaking either way. You go in and you talk to these guys, and then you actually, like, as one of my favorite quotes from Patrick Wall when he was coaching, you just got to put your balls on the table sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's what you've done, dude.
Well, that's what it is, and that's what I love about you, Marty. Like, like you were talking about the meeting that you had to go to. You were wearing a hockey jersey and some
Like
shorts or
now.
whatever, you know. And look, and they still loved him, and they were like, yeah, let's do the thing, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of people they're too worried. It's like, well, I don't want to mess up my Gucci suit in this sweaty locker room or whatever, you know. But that's the reality of it, you know what I mean?
Showing up to meetings in hockey jerseys and pajamas or something like that, you know. But he's still getting shit done, and that's a beautiful thing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you know, and the other one that I can't be remiss without, Ross has mentioned Matt Martinez a couple times, and Matt literally gave his kidney to someone he didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
which he told me about that. I was like, dude, you are almost a god among men right now. Like, guy you didn't even know. You're just like, oh, I'm perfect match.
Yep.
I don't need it.
Changed, like, I don't know if you saved a life, but absolutely changed it, because I watched Dave before he met Matt.
Yeah.
I watched him go through the kidney dialysis one night, which he did 5 nights a week, and it was unbelievable. And I'm like, I can't even imagine doing that one night. Never mind 5 times a week. And,
right. Have that regimen.
Yeah.
Basically.
Matt steps up and does that for him. And now, how ironic! I wouldn't say it's ironic at all, just because I'm looking at my man of God over there. It's like, and the other one to my right next to me is no one's surprised that you're now Matt Martinez's apprentice. I mean, no one's surprised.
Yeah.
And in my world, and lo and behold, what I haven't said yet is there was electrical companies that said, we want to be involved in this. He works for Encore, and Encore raised their hand instantly.
Oh, instantly.
And Encore is the largest non-union electrical company in Colorado.
Oh.
The largest union electrical company in Colorado is Lakewood. And when we told them, hey, we've got an electrician already with Encore, but would you guys want to be part of it? And I wouldn't say bitter rivals, but they're rivals. I mean, they go after the same jobs, and one's a union shop and one's a non-union shop, and they both said, we're putting that aside. We're in. Both of them.
Wow.
So those are our 2 electricians, and it's the 2 biggest companies in Colorado.
Oh, and I think
And
that
this
might
guy,
be.
you're right there. You're part of it.
Oh, yeah. No, and I think Matt's just like, I'm just going to try to pull you over to that job, because that would mean so much just to have you go up there and do that for just Dawg Nation. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he barely mentioned it. I'm like, I'm going.
I'm there. Yeah. Well, just to go back, I mean, the whole thing about Dawg Nation is you guys pull in some incredible people to help.
Yeah.
I've never met someone that I'm in like, well, that guy, I guess he's only here for the glory or anything. Like you meet some of the nicest, most genuine people, and that's like that's the kind of people that you attract.
Yeah.
And I love it. I can't get enough of it.
Well, no, and that's sometimes what you need in an organization kind of like this, or
absolutely.
like a nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
I mean, you just need those selfless people that are just like, yeah, cool, drop of the hat, I don't care. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to pay me. I'll just go out there and do the work just for the whole entire. You get what I'm saying? And
yeah, it's some of my favorite people. Absolutely. I like I said, it's all there. Everybody's so genuine and is so giving. Mm-hmm. It's really awesome to just be around these kind of people. Because I mean, let's be honest. In today's society, it's generosity and genuineness is really kind of fallen by the wayside.
It's
in a lot of
luster, we'll say.
Yeah. but to see that there's still some actually like unconditional love and genuine people out there, it really helps from day to day, I think.
Yeah.
Just to know that there are people out there, and they don't just think of themselves. Selfless, good people.
Yeah.
And I mean, Dawg Nation's got them by the bucketful. I just love it. It's a wonderful foundation to be a part of, and I mean, I always look forward to it. And sometimes I can't get out to some events, just like everybody else. But I mean, just to know that they're still going on, it's still. I mean,
no, that puts a pep in your step.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. Absolutely.
We'll have to make the Dog Bowl this year, though, dude.
Well, speaking of which,
what is the word in Dog Bowl?
Yeah,
I was gonna ask the same question.
So
with everything going on right now.
Yeah, so big shout out to Foothills Park and Rec and also Alec Hines, who runs the Edge Ice Arena. We originally had this scheduled for middle of June, which it always is.
Yeah.
And it ties. It's always been a little bit of an issue because it's right when the NHL draft is.
Yeah. And my birthday.
And your
Right.
birthday. Your birthday. Yeah, it is. And,
yeah.
But it also it kind of messes up some of our players. So because our coaches and things like that can't come because they're in wherever they're doing draft land.
Yeah.
But we could not. Obviously, we looked at that and we were like, oh man, this can be a problem.
Right.
So we were able to move it to July 30th through August 2nd.
Oh, awesome.
Ooh.
4 days. And because the Edge Ice Arena and Foothills literally canceled their own tournament to give us all that ice.
Oh,
And,
really?
Yeah, so it's normally a 44-team tournament, which is as big as we're bursting at the seams. But because of all the extra ice they gave us, we're able to do 52 teams, and 6 of those teams are in sleds. So
that's awesome.
There's a whole sled division. It's going to be awesome. And Mike has been sending out the emails, and what's really crazy, even with everything going on here, we sold that tournament out in like a week.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
So people are ready to play and ready to be out there. And my biggest concern right now is if they're not going to let us have big crowds, and we're going to have to figure out those rules. Rules as far as the nonprofit goes, like how do we still maximize our ability to help other families we have 4 really major fundraisers, and we had one luckily went off already. That was in January, and that was over $100,000 up in Summit County for a pond hockey tournament, and we had I think 11 NHL players playing in that tournament. Yep. So it was pretty fun. And
Matt Martinez sniped up like 2 or 3 of them.
He did.
That dirty dog.
Yeah, you could bid on him. And Matty must make a lot of money. It's like
or at least he thinks he does. I'm kidding, Matt. I'm kidding.
Man, I was gonna say this Matt Martinez guy. I've never met him, but he sounds very popular. I gotta meet the guy.
He's popular. I call him my little short round at work.
I'm
kidding. I'm kidding.
Probably took a second mortgage out on his house just to pick up Milan and Yanni.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think they had like 1 or 2 other just players or whatever that were on their teams, and they swapped it out between the Encore Mountain and like Denver division.
Oh, jeez.
It was actually the very
you
first.
Sandbagging son of a bitch.
10 years it took me for me to win a championship in a dog game. In a dog tournament.
He just buys his way in.
Yeah.
The first time I ever actually, usually we go I'd never even win a game. But this year, it was a really cool team because I had a recipient on my team named Tony Salazar, amazing kid. He was a great player, one of the best players in Colorado. Had a knee-on-knee hit that I talked to Phil about earlier, and Cody knows about him too, and played for RV first team All-State and had a knee-on-knee hit that caused blood clots. And,
oh, God.
And he ended up missing his, that was it. His high school career was over. He actually had a junior deal set up in British Columbia. That was over. And next thing I know, Tony, I had never met Tony. I hadn't even heard of him, and he ends up playing for Metro.
Oh, that's cool.
Because he ended up going to Metro because he was supposed to play juniors up there, and they were told him the first semester, I don't know, you shouldn't probably play yet, and the doctors gave him clearance, and he went and he played, and he played for a guy named Stevie Quayler, who's a Colorado guy that played in the Montreal Canadiens organization, ended up playing for Hamilton Bulldogs, dogs of course. But, he never made the show, but a great player. Hey. And Quayler is now coaching Metro, and so he calls me about this Tony kid, and I don't even know him, but tells me, hey, I got this kid on my team. So Tony gets to start playing in the second semester, which would have been January. Plays his first game, and it's ACHA, but club, but really good. And Metro's got a good team. So does CSU and CSCU. I mean, there's some really good club teams around here. Metro's got a really solid team. UNC, another one. Sorry, guys, I throw you guys out there too. But then halfway through during the game, he said he was really out of breath, and he's a kind of a fitness guy, and he's like, he didn't want to tell the coach. He's like, I just came out first game. I'm not going to tell him I'm limp and out of breath. And then in the locker room after the game, he has a massive heart attack. Turned out he had heart attacks all through the game.
Oh my God!
Wait, what?
Yeah, and he still scored a goal.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah. And
Badass.
So
right?
Tony, at one point, his heart was only working like at 10% of its ability, and he goes on to he's in the criminal justice system at Metro. And Metro heads up, thumbs up for Metro. They got a great criminal justice system. He wants to be a cop. Turns out he pushes and pushes and pushes over the next 2 years. I don't want to get a pacemaker. If you get a pacemaker, you can't be a cop. He finally had to have a pacemaker, even though he's only 20 years old. So that became, I can't be a cop anymore. And he's had bad thing after bad thing after bad thing happen to this kid. So he was on my team in that tournament. And what's really kind of cool about this is when I heard about him, we actually did his check at a Metro game, of course. And, And he shows up, and we do that. That's the first time I met him, and met his mom, and his dad was estranged from him and doesn't really know his dad, and we go to a game, and I said, I go, you want to go to an Avs game, you and me? And he's like, yeah, I'd love to do that. And he shows up at I said, you're gonna meet me at this bar or this restaurant, and he shows up, and I go out in the lobby, pick him up, and we walk back, and I go, yeah, we're gonna have dinner with 2 guys, and he's like, oh, that's cool. And walk back, and you see the back of him, and we walk past him, and it was my brother was one of them, and the other one, he turns around, he's got his Duchesne jersey on. Matty still played for the Avs at that time. And
oh wow!
He's a good dog, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Marco, he's a good dog.
Oh nice.
And so he comes around the corner, and he looks, and he's like, "You're effing Milan Hajduk," and he's just like, he couldn't believe it. He was having dinner with Milan Hajduk, and then we took him to the game. He got to meet Jake Schroeder. He got to meet Pierre Turgeon. And this guy randomly walks up to me that I knew, but it was totally random. He walks up to me. He goes, "What are you doing here today?" And I told him, and his name's Jim Perella. Jimmy goes, "Hey, I got seats on the glass. You want them?" I go, "Where are you gonna sit?" He goes, "Oh, I got a suite too." And I go,
"Oh yeah, all nonchalant."
I just got money.
He's that guy.
I've just got a bunch. I got seats on the glass, and I got this suite.
Jimmy goes, "You want to take these seats?" And I go, "Yeah." And so I said to Tony, I know we got Hajduk and all these guys in the box, and would you want to go watch a game from the glass? And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've never been on the glass at an NHL game, and they're literally right behind the net. Like it would be like the goal judge for you."
Oh God!
So, like they
Dream come true.
Oh, it was so cool. Yeah, I got it. I'll take you to these because I can
man.
do these. You and I'll take them. But I go down there, and literally people stop me, and they're like, that recognize me, and they're like, "Oh my God, what's going on? You got seats down here?" I go, "Well, I do now." And the guy goes, one of the guy goes, "I had no idea you had a son." And I go, "What?" And Tony's looking. We were totally confused, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "You guys look exactly alike. Isn't that your son?" And so Tony to this day calls me dad.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's awesome, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, Tony played on my team up in Summit County, and we won the championship.
Oh, there you go.
Because of him, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It was because of my son. Not my dad.
Yeah, of course.
Not because of that. That was good.
That's so good, man.
Still a tremendous player.
Oh, jeez. Well,
That's amazing, man.
I mean, once you never lose it, you know, your
No.
body may start to go, but
Yeah.
I mean, you always, if you got that hockey mind, you got it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree.
As they say in Monty Python, if you're a keen, you're you're a keen.
Well, boys, any more questions for the Dawgfather?
I think we've covered most of it, but I guess to finish it up, really, I guess a question for you, Marty. Really about Dawg Nation, you know, from where it started, you know, from the right beginning to helping numerous people up to in the works of building a hockey rink. I mean, how does it feel, man? Like anything, you know, it's just great. At least me, I'm sure Ross, like
No.
that's such a cool story. Like I'm sure you have crazy emotions about it all, from a simple, you know, beer league like we were talking about
Just
earlier,
tossing around a hat.
tossing
in the locker room.
around a hat of, you know, couple dollars here and there, to literally in the mix of building a hockey rink and all
Yeah.
that. I mean, what are your feels about it? And
Yeah, it's hard to put in words, but I would say for me, when you look at my life from the outside, you would think I was crazy because I had a really, really good job, and I could have probably worked another 5-6 years, and Cindy and I could have ridden off into the sunset, had a ton of money in our 401k, and about a year and a half ago, I mean, a big part of this is who I'm married to. I just we sat down a couple of years ago and we just said, I said to her, you know, we got this dream and I could just call it good. I mean, who's going to ever say anything bad? At that point, we'd given away about $1 million, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. And I mean, who can say that in their lifetime? And you know, we could just kind of tap out and move on, or we can try and change the world. And there's a lot of cheers, a lot of hugs, a lot of prayers, and we said, let's do it.
Oh, wow.
man,
So that's what we're trying to do. And I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I know I'm surrounded by the right people that can do it.
Oh, yeah. No, you got
Right.
all the support in the world. I mean, when Matt asked me about that hockey rink, I didn't even bat an eye. I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm in all the way.
absolutely, man.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to do. And for me, it's I would say it's been much more than just I mean, it's awesome because I get to meet all these people, including you, Cody, who I consider an incredibly dear friend.
Oh, likewise.
And it's but for me, it's truly been a spiritual journey. It truly has. And for every time, and I don't want to get all weird on everybody, but every time I seem like I'm right on the brink of like I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if this was a good idea. We get the most amazing signs, and this show could honestly, no joke, could be 10 hours long.
Oh,
And-
yeah,
and
absolutely.
there's the stuff that's happened to me, and the people that have been put in front of me are the most amazing people, and they're the right people, like over and over and over again. And it's just like every time I'm like at wit's end and like I don't know if I can do this, I get something that's put in front of me that says, "This is why you're doing this."
Keep on keeping
Or
on.
I get a text message or a voicemail or whatever, and it's from someone that I can't not do this.
Yeah.
I can't not do this, and that's really where I am right now. And from the outside looking in, you'd think I was freaking crazy, but I don't know.
No.
I mean, it's
Well, I mean, you got a motor that runs like 1,000 miles an hour. That's for damn sure. I don't think you're crazy though, bud. I don't see where you get the energy, but thank God that you do.
But
I
yeah.
just
No, I appreciate everything that you've
Yeah.
done for the Beekman family. It's meant a lot for me, man.
Yeah.
Like,
It's-
I will go on here and
Yeah.
just say that it's meant so much. I wouldn't have one of my best pals here if
Yeah.
it wasn't for you pulling strings and doing what you did,
Thank you,
man.
bud.
And
Absolutely.
that means the world to me. It means the world to Cody. I
well, you know,
that.
it means the world to me. I mean, I have a new best friend. I have 50 new brothers and sisters, and
Right?
I mean, I get to sit down and talk with you about it, and I get to see you do amazing things, and it means the world to me, man. And every day, I think I thank God. I thank you guys that you came into my life. because without you guys, I probably couldn't be doing half the stuff that I'm doing now. So
you're doing an amazing job, dude. And thanks for having me, you guys, tonight.
Oh, no.
Oh, this
thank
is
you so
awesome.
much
We were
for
so
coming.
excited to have you.
Once we heard about it, we were all like Twitter pated as
Oh,
they
yeah.
call it in Bambi.
I hope I didn't disappoint you guys.
Oh,
No, not
it
at
was
all. I was
amazing.
literally sitting at home counting the days.
Yeah, so was
Where
I.
it's like, oh man,
was-
One,
it's getting closer.
2,
Yeah,
damn it,
exactly.
Hold on. 1.
No, seriously, man.
Well,
But-
thank you so much for coming on
Yeah.
and doing this, and thank you for everything you do outside of here. Just
Yeah.
can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. And hey, before we finish though, Marty, last minute, do you have like any websites to donate? Anything you want to mention real quick before we end this?
Yeah, we're really proud of our website. It's dawgnation.org and DAWG, dawgnation.org. On that, at all times, you're going to be able to see something that says donate now, and you're going to see people that need help. Then there's going to be 3 or 4 of those pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
And right now I think, Mike, we have 4 of them, right? 3 of them, 4 of them. And I know we talked on the way. We were sitting in Cody's driveway before we came in, and we were talking about 2 more people that need help. So these are going to continue, and those are the people that if you can go out there and kind of see, or if you just want to generally to donate to Dawg Nation, then we'll take that money and use it wisely. We promise. And that's what we do.
And you can always volunteer as well.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah,
looking for
Cody's
help.
been a volunteer.
Dog
Phil's
bowls,
been a
all
volunteer.
that stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's. I mean, even if you just want to come and flip burgers for like the dog bowl or something, like they would be more than happy to have the help.
anything helps people.
Yeah. There's links on the website, right, for volunteers. Mike he's nodding his head there, and also for sponsors. And Phil's been a sponsor many times on that. And as I like to say over and over and over again to our board, and I'm going to have this on my wall in my office once we build this rink, right now. If
Of course.
not, once we build this
Yes.
rink.
Once.
And behind that, it's going to say, ask enough pretty girls out. One's going to say yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go.
I love it.
And so,
I love it.
So that's really kind of, Mike will tell you, he's heard me say that so many times now. He gets annoyed when I say it now. But it really is what Dawg Nation's about. It's not afraid to say ask for whatever we're trying to do. And on that wall, like with that, anybody out here listening to this, if you know someone that has a big heart or wants to be part of something like this, have them call me or call Mike, and we are definitely going to call you back. And we'll tell you what we're doing, or call Cody for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an ambassador to Dawg Nation, and he can answer that same question too and tell you about what it's about and why we're doing it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can even message us on the beach, on the beach,
On the
bench.
Banks.
Anybody there, you can even message the podcast because
Yeah.
we'll direct you right to where you need to go.
Yeah, you can
And-
message us individually even too.
Yeah.
We're all for that. So
And we got our email too that, I mean, we've thrown out a couple of times, on the bench with Beeks at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Feel free to send us an email as well, and
Yeah.
we'll
and we'll-
forward it to the right people.
I'll even throw it out there, and if somebody's going through a situation or anything like that, I know Marty will just step up. Matt has told me many stories where he's just like, "Oh, let's go."
Yep. Well, just one more quick thing. I just want to give a quick shout out to one of our listeners, Jenny Rose. She recently lost her pops. So we just, I know it's been kind of hard for her this week. So we just wanted to say, keep on keeping on, Jenny. We
love you.
We love you, and we're thinking about you, and hope everything gets better.
And hope we see you at an Avs game here soon.
Absolutely.
Because we love seeing your face.
And and thank you to all the listeners. Thank you to Marty. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody who sits down and listens to 3 jackasses talk about hockey.
Pretty much.
Well, boys, I think we got an epi.
We sure do.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Y'all have a good night.
Until next time, have a good one.
Thanks so much, guys. Till next time.